Have you always dreamed of breaking into comics? I know I've been there. I published my first book just out of high school, and after 5 long years of trial and error, was able to go full-time. Over the years, my company grew and grew, and although I started as an artist and writer, I quickly noticed a void in the industry for real, practical, down-to-earth information about the business side and how the publishing process works. As someone who spent years learning the ins and the outs of the business, I was inspired to write how to self-publish comics, not just create them.
Hello and welcome to another Comic Book Art Essentials. This is Travis Hemo, professional comic book artist, and today we're bringing you How to Self-Publish Comics, Not Just Create Them by Josh Blaylock, published by Devil's Due. So on another video where I covered kind of a reference guide, I covered how to draw comics the Marvel way, and in it I mentioned or was trying to speak to how I feel that this book is a great, well-rounded look at how to draw comics and tell a story through sequential art. Granted, probably with a more superhero bent to it, but I can't, just recommend this book enough. But I started to think about this book, and this book has been on my shelf for a very long time. And I actually worked with Josh. I worked with Josh on Arc World, and I also worked with him on Trailer Park Boys, which, by the way, the new issue of Trailer Park Boys will be out September 15th. Pick that up at your local comic book shop. The main cover is a cover I drew, so definitely check that out. There's also a 6-page story that I drew in it called Prehistoric Park Boys, and you can kind of gather what that's about from there. Going forward, I never met Josh before. Maybe, I guess I met him in 2019. So I bought this in 2012, and it was a huge influence for me and my friends. We kind of shared this book, this exact copy, amongst each other because we wanted to make our own comics and we wanted to understand the business. And that's what this is for. This isn't just how to write comics. This isn't how to draw comics. This is how to understand the business of comics. And I think that people should definitely get this book. This is a big recommend, especially if you never published your own book, you don't know where to start. This is where this would come in. So this is an older copy. It's since been updated. Josh has a brand new version. It's on devilsdue.net. I'll also put a link to it in the description below. And before I go any further, also make sure to hit that like button and also make sure you're subscribed to this channel. It helps me grow this channel and build up that audience. So I really appreciate it. Thank you to some of the new subscribers that I got recently. So anyway, let's just dive right in. Okay. So basic table of contents. I'm not going to try and go like a deep dive through all these, but building infrastructure is going to be talking about understanding print distribution, whether it be from a comic book store, from a book level, newsstand level, helps you understand that, to building your creative team, which is in here, from understanding not just the roles that are involved with, with say inker, penciler, all that, to things like understanding contracts, copyright, trademarks, and also understanding if you're hiring a creative team, how to draft that contract and understand what work for hire is versus a creator-owned project. And I think that's something people need to keep in mind when they're building. And a lot of this information is they are things that you should keep in mind while you're doing this process of making a comic. To marketing, public relations, and production. And I'll also talk about hit the pavement at the same time, because it's kind of like, almost like the how to draw the Marvel way. It's taking, some building block things and then how to run with it. So you have your infrastructure, who you're going to distribute through. You have your creative team. You have your book. Then you have the marketing side of it. Not just not just, hope for the best and let the distributor do all the work, because they don't do any advertising for you, really. So understanding of planning, online marketing, website strategies, all of this. Some of that's probably common sense. Others, he just gives you some pretty good insight, especially with his experience. So Josh has been making comics since the 90s, his own comics. He started Devil's Due in 2001. They started with G.I. Joe. So he has all this experience, and it's kind of distilled right into this book. The last thing I'm going to touch on real quick is that, and here he talks to new developments. I'm pretty sure he changed it in the newest version, because around this time, Kickstarter was still pretty new. Talks about, understanding that Kickstarter is a huge influence now, and you don't necessarily need a publisher. It allows you just to go straight to your customer and your fan base. So that's really cool. I know I've said it before. This is just a high recommend. Pick up this book. You won't be disappointed. It'll be a great resource material to have on your shelf. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks, and see you on the next one.